Next up, we have Ponto Shivo with us, and he is going to take us into meeting the challenges of chaotic future. Welcome, welcome, Ponto Shivo. Ponto Shivo is the founder of Ponto Life, a unique spiritual path that taps the creative potential of current chaotic times. Quantum Life integrates the metaphysical insights from various religions with quantum sciences and string theory. Quanto Shivo is multidimensional. He is an expert in inquiring through Socratic methods. He channels divine sages, avatars, and masters, is a PLR guide, is an inventor of unique astrology method called energy metrics. Without further ado, Quanto Shivo.
Thanks a lot, Ritu, for your introduction, and thanks, Kushbu and Shavana, for organizing this wonderful conclave. And I've been listening to a lot of speakers since yesterday, also participating, and it has been very exhilarating. And it has also helped me integrate with everyone vibrationally. So vibrational integration is a concept which I'm going to speak about. It's a very, very powerful concept, uh, which will help you resolve almost every challenge you face as a trainer. So before I start to speak about it, uh, I am going to have two questions. So my first question is, what is that which distinguishes a great coach from a good coach? Can I have your answers? What distinguishes the great coach from a good coach? Commitment, good. Art of questioning, compassion, self-grounding. Agreed. Pure intention, agreed. Make sure you get results. Yes, empathy, deep listening. All great answers. Energy, all great answers. Equal treatment, connect with the coachee. All great answers. Ability to connect deeply. Co-creative mindset. Temporary. Okay, great question. Nurture life. Yes. Thank you everyone for your answers. Uh, okay, I'm going to describe in nutshell one great quality which will distinguish great from good, and that is ability to deal with unknown. How many of you are with me that this is the number one quality a great coach requires? Ability to deal with unknown, right? Thank you very much. So that's what we are going to delve in. Thank you. Thank you. Another question I have is, what is the greatest resource of a coach? What is the greatest resource of a great coach? What does the coach has that makes him great? Openness, yes. Empathy, energy, listening skills, connection with cosmos, great, all great answers. Deep diving ability, great guru, all great answers. Good soul, great. Thank you very much. Shift energy states. Okay, so this answer I'm going to give you in the end. What is the greatest resource of a coach? So let me first begin to deal with what helps us tap the unknown. And there is some concept I have been practicing for a long, and that is the vibrational integration of known and unknown. It is from the known, the greatest of the revelations happen. It is from the revelation of unknown, the greatest creation happen. And my most favorite example there is of Einstein. Einstein shifted the whole paradigm of science. What he created never existed before. So whatever he could have studied, whatever he could have known, couldn't have created theory of relativity. It was impossible. And a lot of people say that Einstein had a great IQ. I think it was some 105 or something. But you know, there are people who have had IQs of 130, 140 also. but they haven't been able to create what Einstein created. So, what was the source of Einstein's creation? In fact, this question was asked to Einstein again and again, that what is the source of your creation? What is the specific talent you have? And what Einstein replied is one of my most favorite quote in my life. And he says, I don't seem to have any specific talent except that I am highly inquisitive. You get it? So being highly inquisitive is the greatest talent of all human talents. And what is the meaning of highly inquisitive? Is to live in the domain of I don't know. So I'm asking question. And to whom I am asking question? I'm asking question to people around me, the experts, and I'm also asking question to cosmos. And Einstein asked this question again and again to cosmos. A lot of people have said that Einstein was really a sage, and he was. So there was a time in his life where he used to do something which all of us will consider a complete waste. if if somebody was doing that around you, you will say this person is really wasting his life. So Einstein did not start have a great academic career. When he came out with theory of relativity, he was a patent clerk. He was a junior clerk in the patent office in Zurich. So he used to spend hours and hours. He would go on the roof, spend hours and hours just looking at stars. And for years he did that. It was not even stargazing, Mukul. It was, he was looking into the space. He was fascinated with the space. And you know what? When he inquired into the space, space unraveled its mysteries to him. What is theory of relativity? It is a mystery of space. Of course, he also studied, and he often said that in theory of relativity, I am integrating two paradigms of science. At the time of Einstein, there were two separate paradigms of science. One was the Newtonian paradigm of matter physics, and another was the paradigm of electromagnetic reality. So there was a paradigm of electromagnetic reality, and there were rules of electromagnetism, which were designed by James Clerk Maxwell. And Einstein often used to say that I stand on the shoulders of J. Maxwell. So, do you see how much he integrated? He integrated the known paradigms of Newton and J. Maxwell, and he integrated with the unknown, with the space. So this whole integration came out as vibrational, the theory of relativity. And I started to practically understand this. I'm sharing a real story from my life where I would say I started to really understand the power of unknown. So it was something that happened I think it was 2013. Um, Before that, I had started to train. I started my spiritual workshop in 2011, and a lot of people gave a lot of positive feedback about it. And I also used to think, okay, I'm good. And because uh, I had a lot of spiritual knowledge, I've had this experience of Aham Brahmasmi just in 2009, and I was sharing a lot with people. So Uh, but the audience I had always dealt with was the spiritual mature people, the sadhaks. And one of the person in my group, her name is Archana Kalia, and she was the principal of a school in Lucknow. And she requested me that would you come and speak to my kids? Now, one of the things I have practiced in my life, and it has led to a huge evolution in my life, and that is uh, I tend to always say yes unless I'm compelled to say no. So I knew that speaking to school kids is not my paradigm, but this is one operating principle I practice in my life. So I said yes. But I was very confused. I said I can answer to very deep sadhaks, but how will I answer to students. I've never interacted with them. And so I go there in the state of unknown, a chaos, a confusion, knowing fully well that whatever I've been telling people, all the spiritual stuff is not going to work there. So then I say, okay, I am going to start with they asking me questions. So I ask them that, okay, you ask me questions. So they start asking questions. Some of them ask question about what is the proof of God? Is the God really exists? And then some say how stressed I am. And some of them are sharing their teenage issues. And and I'm very confused that what is that I'm going to talk now? I mean, I cannot find a common ground. And until one person asks me that, okay, I'm very confused about my career. And then I say, okay, here is something I got. Okay, so now I know the concept. And the concept is that Osho had taught me. The concept is follow the joy. So I said, okay, now I'm going to talk about follow the joy. This is how you choose your career. So I start to talk about it. I start to ask them, okay, what do you enjoy? And then you know what, whatever answers they gave, it made me feel even more desperate. Some of them said, I enjoy eating. Some of them said, I enjoy listening to music. Some of them did say, which I liked, that I enjoy singing. But then when I discovered that they did not have a great talent in singing, so I couldn't suggest to them that, okay, you will become a singer. You can become a singer. And uh, the crescendo of my confusion was when this guy said, I like to roam around in the market. I'm so confused that, okay, okay, this is a concept I had talked with grown-ups, and I had achieved good results in telling them that, okay, what you enjoy is what you follow as a career. Okay, today I'm not going to share the same thing. I don't have the same principle, but that was a time, that was my founding principle. Your career should be what you enjoy. So this guy said, I enjoy roaming around in the markets. And I am just, oh my God, there are students from everywhere. And it was in that moment I said, okay, I cannot deal with it anymore. I said, I surrender. Nothing is working. Whatever happened, whatever I have learned is all a failure. And I surrender. I trusted that whatever will happen, maybe I'll get the answer and that will be great. Even if I don't get the answer from the cosmos, even that is going to be great. There must be some purpose. With that deep trust, I surrendered. So, uh, so then I came to know. Uh, then I came to know that, okay, I got the answer. Answer was that a lot of people were not talking about what makes them happy, but they're rather talking about how they avoid the sadness. So it was a great insight at that moment. Actually, that insight is still helping me. So I started to ask them, okay, is it something that is making you happy, or are you running away from something negative? So why are you listening to music? And that girl told that because I feel bored with life. Now, this is not happiness. Why are you roaming in the markets? Because I feel so much constrained. I live in the hostel. I said, no, sorry, this is not happiness. So this was the solution I had gotten right at that moment. So the greatest ability of today's coaches is ability to deal with unknown, because we are in such times of chaos. See, today, what is the biggest crisis everybody faces in the world? There is a huge chaos. Everything is unpredictable, right? So now, in the times of this unpredictability, all the predictable tools have gone for toss. I don't have time. That's what Ritu is telling me. Maybe I'll
We
try
have
to.
about 3 4 minutes to wrap up. We can do.
Yeah. So, okay. So very quickly, I will wrap up, and maybe some of that we can discuss in the panel discussion. So, in these unpredictable times, what has happened is few of the things have gone for toss. A lot of things we used to train earlier are from the known world of known, and I will just give you a few examples. NLP comes from the world of known because you program your mind something you know. So NLP is training is not working. The visualization, the affirmation training, the mantra chanting is not working today. Everything is coming from known. So what is really working today is something called vibrational integration. And very quickly, I would like to explain the concept of vibrational integration. There was a great scientist called David Bohm, and he said that, okay, he said something what our sages always said, that before anything manifests in the world, it first happens in a subtle reality, in a subtle plane, right? So whatever is going to happen after 2 years is already happening there. So whatever was going to happen in that school is already happening there. So if you tap that domain of vibration, you are already flowing with the future. And I suspect that the founders of all the great companies today, the Google, the Uber, the Amazon, they are tapping that plane of vibration, that vibrational reality they are tapping. So if you start to tap that vibrational reality, you have the whole power in your hand. You know you are flowing with the future, because today everybody is struggling with the future. I was reading something about the gig economy, and people are you know earlier people used to have one career, then they said, okay, we will shift few careers. Now the time has come of the gig economy, where you will be in a particular job for 3 months, and then there will be another job for 3 months, like contractor, and every job is going to be different. So you have to all the time reinvent yourself. So, and the coach has to reinvent, coach has to help their coaches reinvent themselves. And for that, you have to have access to the future. And how do you have access to the future is by tapping that vibrational reality, right? So, Ritu, I suppose I should wrap up.
If you could just take a minute and talk about vibrational reality, how to tap into it. Otherwise, I think it'll leave us midway
Right.
through.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, integration. Okay. So, going back to my that experience in that school, what happened at that moment? I started to listen from a different space. So, we had Shona talking about listening, but I discovered a different realm of listening that day, and that was listening was from my whole body. So, when the students were talking, I was not I was not just listening to what they were saying. See, when people speak, when your coaches speak, they are just speaking 1% or not even 1%, very small friction of who they are. So it's just the tip of the iceberg. How do you access? By listening to what they are saying. How do you tap what is going on inside them? How do you tap their subconscious? How do you tap their possibilities? Just by listening to them. If you start to feel what they're saying as vibrations in your body. So when there are 20 people said 20 different things, you experience everything as vibrations, and those vibrations became integrated with your aura because you were listening from your whole body, and you have your own vibrations that is connected with the cosmic vibrations. Do you see the whole vibrational integration is happening? And there you drop your mind, drop what you know, and you access what you don't know. That channels through you right in that moment. So, this I feel is the crux of the great coaching. One more thing I would like to share here, which is very, very important. I know I am exceeding my time, but very, very important thing. All kind of goal setting is a complete flop today. So I remember, we are currently going through a program called Money Wisdom in Quanto Life, and there is a very wonderful participant. He's a great coach of businesses, and 3 years back he was doing another program, and then he shared by year 2025 I want to train 50,000 entrepreneurs, and I will take them from old business models to the new business models. And then I said, listen, this whole goal setting thing is not going to work because future is unpredictable. And at that point of time, Ruchi was part of a group. She can probably uh, attest to what I'm saying. We had already started to I had already started to predict that the whole ecosystem of the world will collapse in year 2019 through my astrological models. I was already predicting that. So I told him that, listen, all this predictability is going to crash. So drop this goal setting. You know how we think year 2025 is this. So what should I achieve by 2022? What should I achieve and what should I be doing today? That whole paradigm has collapsed. So, we need to let go. We need to see, this is all the business strategies were happening through your known world. You were setting targets through there, you were deciding what to do, but that is not working anymore. So this whole paradigm of I know has to go, and we have to step into I don't know. Yeah. Thank you very much.